Thank you. I know it's getting long, but I'm trying to think of something to say that hasn't already been said. So let me give you a couple. First,
ice melts in Texas.
Ice melts in Texas. First, I want to thank all of the people who are behind me for their presence and for their courage, and especially Congressman Castro for leading this nationwide. This is not an easy job, and being the father of a young child myself, I know it is an impossible task to keep a straight face and not be angry and to stay composed. That is almost impossible. And so I want to direct some of that anger not just towards Trump, who is not a king, barely a president, but also to one of his biggest accomplices, and that is Governor Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott wants nothing more than to get an attaboy and a pat on the head from Donald Trump. And in fact, the world we're living in now is something that Abbott has aspired to for a long time. Some of my colleagues may remember SB4, the original Show Me Your Papers bill that would allow local law enforcement on site to check people's immigration status. And remember, during that debate, we offered amendments that said you shouldn't be able to go into a school to do this. They voted it down. You shouldn't be able to go into a church to do this, and they voted it down. You shouldn't be able to go into a domestic violence shelter, and they voted it down. This is what they want, and they finally got it. You know, what's really interesting to me is that, and follow this if you can, Greg Abbott opposes red flag laws. And he says so because he's concerned about the due process rights of the gun owner. And yet, he has no concern for the lack of due process of Liam and everyone else there. On top of that,
How do you feel about your president raping 12-year-olds?
all right, so release Liam, release the families, release these political prisoners, and my boy, release the Epstein files. Thank you very much. All right, and up next is our state senator, Jose Menendez.
So, for the Spanish media, let me explain a little bit of what we do, a little recap. Para los medios españoles, habla español, yo soy José Menéndez, senador estatal, Distrito 26, hijo de inmigrantes. And just like it's been said, como se ha dicho, estas personas que tienen arrestados son gente que llegaron aquí legalmente, entraron legalmente. Este señor no sabe ni lo que habla. These are people who came through the system legally. We are talking about people, children and women, who are being detained without their human rights and their civil rights. We're not talking about anybody that has any kind of criminal complaint whatsoever. No hay ni un criminal, cero, en Dilley, ni en Pearsall, ni en Carnes, cero. Son gente, niños, familias, señoras que no tienen a sus familias. Esto es un abuso de los derechos civiles y humanos de estas personas. Y por eso, los latinos, todos que escuchen esto, tienen que salir, no podemos temerles. Ellos lo que quieren es que nos escondamos. They want you to hide. They don't want you to come out. They want you to cower. This is all a part of what their whole activity. The fear, and for me, yes, is part of the mass, but the fear is how to control the masses. That's why being out here is already winning. Today, this morning, myself and many of my colleagues sent a letter to Governor Abbott asking for the immediate cessation of any cooperation with ICE in Texas. Period, the end. These people, whether it's Trump, whether it's Miller, whether it's that lady that's unqualified, these people want you not to believe your own eyes and ears. You've got to understand that you cannot allow them to get away with a narrative that they don't even understand. That's a part of it. They fool these poor people into believing things that aren't the reality. So, anyway, I'm going to introduce now